Sword of Convallaria for this World of Peace has officially been revealed, and now we officially know that it's set to release onto the PC via Steam, iOS via the App Store, and Android via the Google Play Store later this fall. And there's plenty of reasons to be excited for this brand new strategy RPG. Not only because of the amazing visuals, which we're going to have to talk about in a little bit, but also some really interesting features that the character development and class level up system will also be trying to introduce. Do keep in mind this is one of those free-to-play mobile games with some four-dimension and gacha type mechanics, but the fact that they are discussing the potential launch on consoles at a later date does signify that there is a chance that this could end up being a potentially somewhat fully paid game without those gacha tactics. Boasting a rich fantasy setting, gorgeous pixel graphics, and a tense turn-based set of battles, Sword of Convallaria for this World of Peace offers a fresh take on a beloved genre as your choices shape the game's narratives and depends the fate of each character. Expect the console quality like graphics and deep rewarding strategic gameplay whether on the go or playing from your desktop. Set on an ancient continent of Rodinia, you arrive in Iria, a small nation rich of magic luxite materials. Your quest begins as you awaken in a dungeon to escape Convallaria, a town under the threat of Iria's escalating conflicts. As the leader of the Sword of Convallaria mercenary group, you navigate through various factions and make difficult decisions to pursue the peace of Iria. Throughout your journey, you'll customize your own mercenary group by recruiting companions, teaching them skills, forging equipment, researching technology, and accepting missions from different factions. In combat, strategic gameplay is crucial as you deploy powerful allies and navigate the terrain elements that can be used to gain an advantage over your enemies. Every battle you fight and every choice you make will shape the destiny of Rodinia. So essentially what they're saying here is that the choices you make will carry a hefty tone. Sword of Convallaria for this World Peace was recently spotlighted in the most recent JRPG veteran Yatsumi Matsuno is best known for directing and producing all-time classics such as Final Fantasy Tactics and Ogre Tactics. So you know this game is being made by people who know what they are doing. In an interview between Matsuno and Leo Guro, the developer of Sword of Convallaria for this World of Peace, Guro shared some fascinating insights about the upcoming game. Born out of the love for the genre, the strategic RPG fashions, and retro-style pixel art, Sword of Convallaria for this World of Peace already features over 300 maps and 1,000 or so multiple stages with plenty of endings and characters to unlock. Based on the choices that you make, Guo's inspirations go far beyond this video game, with elements and story echoing dramatic moments in history. As far as the name itself, Sword of Convallaria was chosen as it evokes a beauty and transcendence of peace and the weapons used to protect it. So that's a little bit of an outline that they provided in their official Japanese page. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for that, as it's all been, translated unofficially by players who are very excited for this game. Do keep in mind once again that a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch version is also planned, most likely around 2024, which will not contain a free-to-play tactics. This will be a more traditional console release, which is making a lot of players very, very happy. Now, you cannot talk about this game without talking about the visual style. Now, interestingly enough, they're not calling it HD-2D, which is what we have seen Square Enix call pretty much all of their latest HD kind of remakes of original pixel art, which looks lovely. And I've made several videos discussing of just how interesting the changes have been as they gradually tweak and make that HD-2D look and progress it going forward. This time around, though, what these developers are trying to do is they're calling this neo-pixel art, essentially a brand new twist on HD-2D. Sword of Convallaria features this brand new style, blending traditional pixel art with modern 3D engines. So you do get to see the 3D backgrounds with the pixel art in the forefront. But however, unlike traditional methods, NeoPixel leverages modern illumination techniques that account for both the direct light sources and subtle refractions of light within whatever environment you're exploring. This creates a nuanced interplay of light and shadows, adding a tangible 3D depth and volume to whatever pixel art you're looking at. This approach also makes the colors look different. While some pixel art styles feature high saturated colors, NeoPixel features natural hues that make the screen look realistic and immersive at the same time. This creates a level of sophistication unlike other pixel art styles, and it makes the colors look more natural, more normal, if you will. Now, at the same time, they also talk about the story, where the story takes place in a small country named of Area, like I mentioned at the top of the video in the overview. It's a country full of rich history, renowned in their mines, and abundant with very rare crystal ores. The invaluable resources have drawn the eyes of neighboring powers and exceeding their hands towards their area, so they pretty much want to take everything they can. With a variety of political motives and military actions pose a significant threat to the small nation of Area. Now, at the same time, there is a lot of variety of gameplay that is also worth considering, and the music cannot be ignored as well, since pretty much everything that you do around the world will pretty much reflect, depending on whatever room you're in. This is what the developers are saying. Depending on whatever room you're in, the sound of that specific area might actually change. It might sound a little bit different. It might have over this 50 different tracks that have already been confirmed. It might actually have like different instruments that are going to be being played for that specific section of the room maybe that you're standing in, which is a really interesting twist and something that you don't necessarily see so much energy and focus being put into there. Now, specifically talking about gameplay, this is a traditional classical RPG, strategic RPG, so you have to expect turn-based combat and plenty of characters that are going to play a little bit different. As you fight and you amass a bigger crew, some of your characters will kind of dictate the way your development or the way you explore the world. If you're focusing more on ranged characters, you might have a disadvantage from whenever you have too many enemies kind of like forcing their way onto you, so you're gonna have to knock them back. Thankfully, in like many other strategy RPG fashions, you're going to be able to push enemies back and basically push them out of the way, or use specific elements to kind of keep them at bay. Some of the things that they showcase in the overview trailer is knocking enemies into the water from one tile into another, or putting one tile into fire where essentially the grass catches flame. This is something that we saw like Octopath do very well, and other games as well have been doing that for a bit. You can also use like lightning, which will set the water and paralyze enemies. You can also send rocks rolling down the hill, where essentially they knock enemies out of range, put them into a stun or KO status, kind of push them away so you don't necessarily have to come at you or get too close. Different elements, different tactics, all of that can be worked together. And if you can put one enemy in between two of your characters, of course you can combo one onto the next and do a massive chunk of damage as well. So a lot of strategies that you have seen in other games are kind of being compiled here together, re-emphasized and re-engineered, so you can take full advantage of whatever it is that your team is going to want to do. And that's going to be one of the biggest benefits that you're going to have, because there's so many characters that you're going to be able to recruit into your party. Now, as of right now, they have not necessarily said how many characters will ultimately become available, but as of some reports, we are talking over 40 characters or so that could become unlockable, again, depending on those choices that you make. If you make enemies of one specific nation, chances are characters from that nation who are more bound by their rules are not maybe too interested in joining your party. At the same time, if you try to play all sides of the courts, if you will, maybe you're not necessarily going to get everyone, because they kind of want you to become dedicated to one nation or over another. So it is those things that you have to keep in mind as you explore the story and progress through the game that might ultimately shape up what kind of party you might end up getting. So once again, I do find this game sort of Convallaria for this world, which is once again launching on PC via Steam, iOS and Android later this fall for free to play. But once again, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch sometime in 2024, still a nebulous 2024 release. Presumably, they're going to have to wait and see how well it does on mobile games. We have seen that happen quite a lot as of late. I think the most recent Mega Man game that I spoke about maybe a few days ago or so, or maybe about a week or so, I kind of forget when I put that video up. I spoke about the Mega Man X Dive game, which released on mobile devices for free, and then ultimately it did okay, but it didn't do great for Capcom, so they decided to repurpose it, make it an offline game, and now you have a fully played $30 experience that is going to make its way into consoles as well, PlayStation and Nintendo Switch as well. So it is one of those things. Maybe this game does well on mobile devices and PC, but ultimately PlayStation and Nintendo Switch is already being talked about getting a full-on supported non-free-to-play version. If you're brand new to my channel, though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.